So about a year ago, I fitted Apple CarPlay to my 2005 Mercedes-Benz SLK 280.
10 minutes later. Sorry, I had to do it by myself, otherwise I would have got copyrighted.
Ignore the dodgy tech for undoing the door, the key's mucking about. This wasn't meant to be part of the video, but basically we've got an interesting situation where I have to pop the boot lid to unlock the door. I don't know what's going on. I took this car on a trip and everything went wrong. You'll see that in a couple of videos' time. Now that video about fitting the Apple CarPlay to this car did kind of blow up in a way. It's got about 14,000 views and it's got lots and lots of comments, and now one stood out to me the other day. Now I've replied to all of them, but one in particular stood out, and it was somebody asking me how's it held up after a year, and he asked me a couple of questions that he wanted me to answer in this video. So to that guy, here is your video. Alright, now ignore the absolute state of this car. When the car is as dirty as this, that's when you know this trip was a good one. Anyway, now onto the screen. Well, the screen, you may be asking, has held up extremely well, I have to say. It's been an outstanding improvement, and it's also fixed some issues in this car as well, which we'll get into. But all in all, it's been really, really good. I mean, just starting off, it fits in here perfectly. Like when the screen is off, you couldn't even really tell that it was aftermarket. When you have it on, well, it's a good screen. Now this screen does have some flaws, but that's with any screen really, isn't it? But for the most part, it's fast, you know, there's no lag to it, it's nice, it does the job, and it's exactly what I needed. Now this screen does benefit from its own operating system as well, which is run by Android, and it makes it better than some of the Pioneer screens, for example, and stuff like that, where you have to have an iPhone or an Android phone to connect to it, and that's the only way you can use the device. Like this one still has its own radio, it still has a CD player in 2026, so you're not actually losing any features that you got with the original SLK radio, you're just gaining all of the new ones that you really, really want, and there are no compromises that you have to make. Like as you can see here, we've got Bluetooth, we've got phone, we've got maps, so we can have our own navigation even if you don't have a phone. So it does have a built-in sat-nav. We've got radio, we've got video, we've got all the cameras as well. You've got your front camera if you had a front camera in the car. And we also have our lovely rear camera as well when we put the car in reverse. We've got a good operating system. It's strong, you know. It's got your auto link, which is your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the one we really, really care about. I mean, it's got all the DAB radio and everything. It's even got Spotify built in, so if you don't have an Apple phone that you can compare to, or an Android, but you do have a Spotify account, maybe you have like Amazon Alexa or something, you can then actually go in there and do your Spotify straight through the screen. So that is a pretty good benefit. Now, as for the main event, which is Apple CarPlay, obviously, it's very smooth as well. Normally, some of these Apple CarPlay screens are very laggy. This one is very, very responsive. It's not the fastest in the world. It's not exactly OEM standard, you know, like you find in a modern Mercedes. But to be honest, it's not far off. Now, the person who created the original comment asks, can you please talk about how you can see the screen with an open roof on a sunny day? Well, it's not the most sunny day, but luckily at the moment we do have a patch of no clouds above our head, so it's pretty obvious that we can show you. So let's pop the roof down. Well, hey, daylight. Oh, that's bright. Now, the camera probably isn't the best showcase because obviously the camera's going to make things look a little bit more clear than they normally would be. But from my point of view, I can still see it. Now, I can see obviously the reflection behind us of the seats and everything, but it's not quite as bad as the camera's picking up. This is from the driver's POV and it looks really bad on camera. But to be honest, I can still see it fine. It does get to a point sometimes though, but I'm sure there's a like screen protector of some sort, or you know, something that we can add to this that's going to make it you know, visible during the day. But I mean, it's what you get with any screen. It's not too bad, and yeah, as I said, probably some sort of a privacy screen protector would fix this pretty quickly. Probably also doesn't help that I have an ultra reflective wind deflector behind me as well, which can cause some havoc as well. But no, to be honest, I don't know if you can see it, but it's not too bad at all. When you catch it in the right light from the shadows of the driver's seat, you can still see the screen perfectly fine, to be honest, and this is about as bright as it gets with this this sun. It's probably comparable for me at the moment to that. It's probably about as comparable as I can get it for you guys. So it's not as reflective. You can still see all the main points. I mean, you do get a bit of a reflection in the background, but it's not going to be enough to hinder you at all, and I certainly wouldn't count it as the one reason you don't buy it. Now, onto some reasons I would buy it. Now, the speakers in this car are pretty good. You know, they're good Mercedes speakers. But when you have the FM transmitter, you know those little boxes you put in where your Bluetooth plugs into it, goes to the FM radio, and everything sounds really bassy. It sounds like your speakers are broken. Like, there's actually a science behind it. So when you do it that way, it basically, the Bluetooth picks up that you're wearing Bluetooth headphones, right? So like your AirPods or your Beats or whatever you wear. Sony's, whatever. And what it does is it ups the bass to the headphone standard. Well, obviously, car speakers aren't headphone speakers, and so it sounds really bassy. Whereas when you have one of these screens, I thought my speakers were broken, but whereas now I have this screen, what it basically means is that it now picks it up as going to a car because it's using CarPlay or a car's Bluetooth head unit. So it fixes the speakers and they sound absolutely beautiful again. Okay, so this is some lovely copyright-free music with the Apple CarPlay system running. Sounds alright, doesn't it? As you can hear, the bass is quite even with the rest of the song. And the speakers sound really good. And here's the same part of that song with the Bluetooth transmitter. Now that is quite a mild song. Now when you play like proper bassy songs, you know, like actual good songs you'd normally listen to that aren't copyright free, you couldn't even listen to half the songs because it was so bassy and it would just vibrate the whole car. It was a horrible experience. But that CarPlay screen has actually fixed it. Now I've been on quite a few trips with this car since I fitted the CarPlay screen, and it's been revolutionary. I mean, I haven't even had to take it out once. It's had no issues at all, touch wood. It's been really good. You know, the sat nav, having Apple Maps and, you know, Google Maps and stuff has been great. It's helped me out a lot, and it just makes the whole experience so much better. You haven't got to keep going to your phone, you know, on a mount and trying to flick through it and change stuff, and it's so much better. Now this car also does have reversing camera capabilities too. We start it up, reverse. So we've got a full reversing camera, and the lines obviously as well, they change with the thing. So it's got full capabilities, it's got lines on the screen and everything, so it's really helpful. Now this is like a universal software, so if you've got any other car and you buy one of these Audio Tech Direct screens, you're going to be getting this. Now I do have a reversing camera and it works with all the universal ones. I just need to do some R&D and plug it in and sort it out and wire it up, which is going to take a while because there's no tutorials on the internet, but I'll drop a video on here soon once I've fitted it, and then it basically will be like the universal tutorial for everyone, because if I can do it on a convertible car, you can probably do it on your regular car. Okay, so now it's time to rate this. I would rate this 10 Chrissy Boy 182s out of 10 because it's just been outrageously good. For the money, there's not anything really any better. You don't lose any features. You've still got the, you know, standard operating system, which means it's like a standalone head unit you don't need Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for, which is very rare in this day and age because everything's Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and people cheap out, and the companies will cheap out, you know, and for example, they won't give you a standalone operating system. You have to pair it with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So in this day and age, this is really rare, and I think there's going to be a lot of people in this comment section who can vouch for that because they've bought screens from the video that I've done and they've said they've liked them. So I think a lot of people can vouch for it, and these are just generally very good. They're very easy to fit as well. I mean, they're not too difficult to fit at all. There are a few cables. You know, they've got all the adapters in the box, connectors and everything. So if you've got the time and about 300 quid, this is probably one of the best modifications you can do to your car. So I really hope this helped you, to the guy who commented, and to anybody else who come across this video and wanted to know. It doesn't matter about this car in particular, just any, you know, any car, any car that wants one of these head units, this video does apply to you because they're all the same apart from the design, so they fit each of the cars that they come from. So the actual internals are all the same, just the shell isn't. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching today's video. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe. You know the rest. Everyone else told you millions and millions of times, I am sure. And yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. Now here's the all-important question. Do I fit one to the MX-5? Let me know in the comments down below.